Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Texas Mortgage Boss Podcast. My name is James J. And today we are doing a community spotlight edition. I am going to start highlighting business owners in my community. I am in the Houston area. And today we are bringing back one of my favorites. Kenneth Whitacre is the owner of Authentik. What does that mean? He's going to explain what that means in a second, but I'm going to start doing this community spotlight because I feel like it's super important to get out into the community and highlight people that are doing things that I love personally. First of all, Kenneth is really into fitness and mental health and coaching. And so we're going to talk about that. And we're going to get a little deeper into what does authentic mean as soon as we come back. Hey, Kenneth, what's up, brother? How are you?
Very good. How are you, James?
I am living authentic as well.
I'd love to hear that.
I'm trying my best.
Yes. Good.
So, man, I am like I said in the intro, you really are one of my favorites because we have a lot of similarities in the way we think.
Yes.
I'm not quite as strong as you are, but I love what you guys are doing with this Authentik brand. We're going to get into a little bit more about what that means.
Yes.
I know you are really, really heavy into lifting and the power of fitness and how that affects mental, which I am too, which is one of the things I love about you guys, what you're doing with Authentik and some of the training that you're doing. So for the people that did not see our previous interview, give a quick Cliff Note version,
Yes.
kind of like what you were kind of doing, what led you guys up to the Authentik brand now and what that means, because I love what you're doing. I love because it's about you guys empowering other people. I really think that's a large part of what Authentik is and what it does for the people that you guys coach. But for people who did not see, matter of fact, you need to go watch the other interview, number one.
Yes,
but
please.
This one's going to be even better in my opinion. So give a quick little background, kind of what got you into, because you're into powerlifting and
Yes.
some other things, mental health, a lot of things that surround fitness. So give us a little quick background, and then we'll get into the Authentik brand, what that means, and what people can take from Authentik,
Yes.
and how you can help people as well.
I love it. First, thank you for having me on again for a second time. I enjoy these interactions
Absolutely.
a ton. And us being able to connect in this way is really beautiful, because I think that you said live authentically. It really is a lifestyle for me.
Yeah.
So I would say my lifestyle, where Authentik maybe kind of initially started, was especially in sports. I grew up in Texas. So me as a young boy in Texas, our life and world was different seasons of sports: football, baseball, basketball, soccer.
Absolutely.
It just changed.
Yep.
So I started succeeding as a young man in sports, as physical exertion is the way that I was able to succeed. So I did that all the way up into my early 20s, ran track, got into cheerleading, numerous different avenues of fitness.
Yep.
And then I got into a point of where I started really wanting to get into physique changing, let's say physique shows, more or less. And I started diving into how could I start getting people, to get initially healthy, but I wanted to start seeing results very quickly. So I started diving into how do I produce change quickly.
Got it.
Rolling through my mid-20s, I met my wife, started going back to school, and I started diving into, maybe it wasn't how quickly I could make change happen, but how the way in which we went along with trying to produce change. So living authentic was now a lifestyle of, by doing it this way, I believe we can produce change in the most enjoyable, the most holistic, and the most attainable way. No matter what that change ended up wanting to be, how do we do it in a way that it's not monotonous, or it's not treacherous, or it's not overly stressful, or takes away from the other areas in our life? Right. You know, I'm a husband also. My wife is in real estate. So being able to juggle the stress of that now Living Authentic became a platform for coaching people that I believe if we can implement what I call the authentic method, we can get a game plan, we can implement the game plan,
Yep.
we can make changes to the game plan, and then we can start rinsing and repeating that process. That's where Live Authentic kind of came from.
So what do you feel like maybe what is the one of the things that keeps people from, because I mean, you know, I know fitness is kind of like the baseline for everything.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
From fitness, and I'm the same way. That is my baseline, and I know it's the
Agreed.
same for you personally.
Yes.
That is everything to start. Everything else branches off from that.
I would agree.
I know you push yourself like crazy
Yes.
when you are physically working out.
Yes.
I do the same thing because I believe if I can push myself this way, first of all, it's helping me mentally. It's not just the physical.
Yes.
All right. Yes, you're going to see physical change, muscles up, if that's what you're going for, number one. Everybody doesn't have to have that, but the exertion, the sweating, it's a mental game at some point. And so what do you find is that one of the things that maybe keeps people is just, because to me, if you can get yourself really pushing yourself in the gym, or it doesn't have to be a gym. All right, let me be very clear. Just pushing yourself, period, on a physical level, that translates into everything else that you do.
Yes.
Work, whether you're a bodybuilder, you're whatever, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I feel like that just transitions into every other area of your life.
I agree. Yes.
Yeah.
You asked an area that I would say I also put focus on. You and I have used a similar word before, mindset.
Yes.
The mindset of how I attack fitness or exercise or exertion is also the way in which I teach mindset in producing change.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what my mindset would be going into fitness.
Yeah.
I think we avoid sometimes the immediate response of where we're at in life.
Yeah.
So like we don't go out to try and see, how in shape am I, or how secure financially am I, or how well. We don't put ourselves out there to kind of get that immediate response.
Yeah.
And with fitness, you get it immediately.
Yeah. That's true. That's so
you
true.
know what's coming and you're going to get it immediately.
Yeah, that is so true.
So for me, I go out every day and I'm trying to test my limits physically every day. And I'm choosing that. So that's almost like I've heard it be described as the greatest self-love. Exercise is your greatest self-love you can give to yourself because you're holding yourself responsible for your own health.
Yeah.
Like you got one of these things. Like
it's no do-over. I try to tell people this is it.
you got one try at this thing.
Yeah, like, and I'm not getting into the afterlife. And listen, this life we're in right now, you only got one of these.
Yes.
What happens after that? Hey, whatever you believe, you believe. But right now, I don't want to wait to get to that life. I want to enjoy this one and push this one and max it out.
Yes. And I think the way that we've started to decide tackling that through Authentic is how do we overcome the things that we already know are making that more difficult.
Yeah.
The foods we're taking in, more difficult.
Yes.
The amount of stress and response. When my parents were growing up, the only way that you got a hold of them was the landline once they got home.
Right.
If they didn't want to answer the landline, like they could disconnect. They could reprieve from that. Now we're getting stress all hours of our awakening. We are taking in atmosphere stuff. We are in a time where we should be taking an active role against the things that are making this life more difficult or unhealthy or harder or we should be taking in mentally. We should be doing books. We should be taking in audio. Like by knowing what we're fighting against, we have to take an active role in our health. And so fitness is where I start with it, but it happens in my mindset, if I'm being honest. Yeah. It really is. I enjoy this.
Yes. Yeah. No. If anybody sees you, and by the way, go look Kenneth up on Instagram. What's your handle on Instagram?
Yes. K Whit, my first four of my last name _ authentic. And then there is Live Authentic _ also are my two IGs.
Okay. Yes. You guys need to go check out. I'm actually going to show a couple here, Kenneth, because I want you to get into one of the recent competitions that you were in.
Yes. Yes.
I want to show people that, but because then the reason why I want to show it is because I want you to kind of walk people through your
Yes.
mentality and your mindset
Yes.
because it's different when you're competing, right? There's
Yes.
another level of energy
Yes.
that comes along when you're in a competition. I don't
Yes.
care
We're going
what.
to go deep here. We're going to go deep here. This
Yeah,
mindset is it. I love that we're about to do this. This is going to
yeah.
be great.
So the last time we talked a lot about stress. Okay, so
Yes.
I'm in the real estate business. I'm in the mortgage industry. And there's a lot of stress right now.
Yes.
Your wife is a realtor. She knows there's a lot of stress in this business right now, and the connection again with fitness,
Mm-hmm.
the level of stress that actually helps you with,
Yes.
which still keeps people from still people still don't do it, which is just insane to me. We know. I want to ask you this because this is a question I want you to I want to get your. So why do you think people know what to do? Like, listen, there's no shortage of information.
Oh yeah.
There's no shortage of information.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think people have the information? And for someone like you, this keeps you in business
Yes.
because people sometimes just need that extra push, or they
Yes.
need the guidance, or they need someone to personally be with them to walk them through. Because again, there's no shortage of information. You go Google everything right now. Go Google it. Go YouTube it. It's out there. Why do you think people still don't do what they know they should be doing, whether it starting with the physical fitness? Because again, that's for me, that's like the baseline, and then everything else branches off from that.
Yes. We have three words that I really focus in Authentic, and it's enjoyable, holistic, and attainable. I think we avoid this 100% because we have not produced the mindset yet where you enjoy this process.
Yeah. That's
End of story.
Yeah.
Like, you haven't.
Yeah.
The doctor hasn't told you a reason why you should do it yet.
Yes.
You haven't been motivated by a significant other, or you don't like. There are so many reasons why you don't want to. Now we could even dive into why you got into this scenario, and that's some stuff that we really dive into, is like, why do we emotionally eat, or why do we do these things? But the reason that you haven't stopped it is because you haven't gotten a reason why.
That's good.
To do it. When you watch this video, I want you to know my wife is about 10 feet in front of me. She's directly like in my eyesight.
Do we need to get Amy? Do we need to get Amy on here?
She's like James, I don't know how to tell you. Like, that woman can take me to a place just by, I've made the connection, and we have the marriage that, like, when I can look at her right before I lay down into a lift, if I'm being honest, it's make her proud. It's show her I can. It's be strong in front of her. It's show her that I can set a goal and I can make it attainable. She watches me work every day. She watches the struggle. She watches me stick to a diet. Like, there's so many driving causes to why I do what I do. Now the process is enjoyable. Like, I love this. I don't wake up and go, not today. Like, not today. That doesn't happen for me. Now, there was a time, and there are times in my life, and I think I also heavily talk about this, is attainable also means there are going to be things that make this process harder.
Yes, absolutely.
Your job has to change. You have kids, you have, X, Y, and Z. Those things are going to come up and will make this process harder. And I simply say we have to grow the why.
Yeah, that is so good, dude. That's so good. You're 100% right. It's, like when somebody passes away, like, people always reflect at that time, and then they'll think. But you're right. Until you have a real big reason why you need to do something, whether it's a doctor, a visit that didn't go the way you planned, or a doctor calls you with some news that you don't want to hear, or it's a physical ailment of some sort that, like, it's kind of it's life or death for some in certain situations. And so I try to encourage people to not let that be the reason why you make a change. But it's hard. It really is hard. The why is not big enough. Simon Sinek, Start with Why. Okay, this is a business book. I'm kind of getting
Yes.
off track slightly here, but it's
Yes.
really about life, in my opinion.
Yes.
The why, like, why are you
Yes.
doing it? Why the emotional eating? And I've been guilty of this a little bit in the past. And food is one of those things that is super hard for people to get attached from the emotional, the emotional response that you get from eating certain foods. Listen, there's all kind of research about it. The dopamine, it's just like it's a drug. It's a drug.
We're in a habit now, though, after COVID, because DoorDash was the first
Yes,
business that was around, was don't
so
leave your
good.
house, but we'll still bring you food.
Yeah,
So food now is, I mean, we sat at home and watched Stress and then ate. Like,
yes,
we have now made the connection of food and stress to,
yeah,
it's so powerful, we don't even realize it.
yep,
Like, so that first battle of eating, or I'll equally say on the other side of things, because I experienced this also, is I hand a diet over and someone goes, I can't eat all this. You also have the people who will eat once a day,
right,
or when they get stressed, they diminish, their sleep goes down, their
right,
water intake goes down. I mean,
yeah,
now stress has become the way we try to manage food in, food out.
yeah,
It's become such a connection for us. It's also a habit as much of a emotional connection for us
for
also.
sure, yeah.
Yes.
So good, man. Yeah, that is spot on. There's that Start with Why. Again, it's a business book, but it really it
He
really
talks the
resonates in
infinite
that way.
game. Simon Sinek speaks of the infinite game.
Yeah,
That's what I would call as attainable. We've
yeah,
got to figure out some way to get you to achieve it, or we know what's coming
yeah,
in 20 years. The infinite game's coming.
yes.
We can't stop
That's
it.
right. That's right. That
So
is yeah.
we either get in control of it, or we're forced to later in life.
Yeah, I think it's difficult for a lot of people to think about what's going to happen in 10 years. you know, the eating habits of today, it feels good, it tastes good. What it's going to do 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, 20. I mean, most people are not in that mindset of thinking, what is this going to do to me
Yes.
later? It's all about the here and now.
I
And it's
communicate.
hard.
Yes, very. I
Yeah.
communicate the law of progression, though.
Uh-huh.
In 10 years, we can either assume you're going to have continued what you're doing and unfortunately look down, do the self-evaluation and say,
Yeah.
is 10 more years going to be more beneficial or less beneficial?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to say, God willing, injury willing, in
Yes.
10 years, I know where I will be in 10
Right.
years. Just to the law of progression, I will continue down this road.
Yep.
And if someone's who eating fast food 5 times a week, if you keep down this process, it will not be 5 times a week in 10 years. It will continue to head down that way.
Yep.
And that's where you're right. Right now, I know it is. I know. But look what a COVID, look what 12 months did.
Yeah.
I mean, people are talking about like COVID 50. I've had people talking about coming to me like 50 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
So in 12 months, we were able to, again, we were forced into the situation. This is one of those exterior handles that if you went into COVID with bad, healthy habits, more than likely you came out of COVID worse.
Yeah, no question. Yeah, they just went to 10x. Your bad habits got 10x when you're forced to stay home.
Yes.
There's nothing else to do. You can't go anywhere.
Yes.
For people that maybe they had some good habits, it was very easy to get off those good habits when you're forced to stay home and you can't go anywhere for 2 months. So once the things slowly started to open back up, which is probably about May of 2020. I know the gyms opened right back up around 2020, and I could not wait to get back to a gym. But even for me, like the habits that I had prior to COVID, it was very difficult because you figure from mid-March to May, we were all stuck. There was nothing to do. And it's real easy to get a bad habit. It's real easy. I wish it was that easy to get the good habits to the second, because it's easy to have a bad habit. Breaking
Yes.
that bad habit is a challenge for most people, and the food is even. And yeah, I want you to speak on this too, because to
Yes.
me, and I hear it, every trainer that I know, they always talk about the food is it's 80% what you're intaking, what you're putting in your body, and the other 20% as far as the physical fitness. I mean, I say it's easy. It's not easy to do, but if you can manage the intake of what you're actually putting in your body, that is to me the hardest part.
Yes. I have really been diving into this because I wanted to believe more that we could have more control over our body than just calories in, calories
Yeah,
out,
absolutely.
managing up, down, exercise, cardio. I
Yeah,
wanted to believe there was more to it.
yeah,
So really where we dive in with Authentik is, especially around food, is we're going to make single changes
yes,
over short periods of time
yep,
on top of each other. I
mm,
will not hand you a strict diet for the first 90 days that we're
right,
together.
yep,
You're going to fail. I'm setting you up right now to fail.
yeah,
We're going to go and I literally will hand a grocery list to them and I'll say, if it's on this grocery list, go for it. There's a good chance you won't be able to eat enough food out of good food
yep,
and exercise and do the other regimens that we're doing in the program and
yep,
gain weight.
yep,
Because now we're putting good things into our mouth. So it's
hmm,
not just about intake.
yeah,
It's about intaking what? Equally talking about internal health.
yeah,
Where is our stress levels when we're eating? Are we high cortisol or low cortisol when we eating? Now
yep,
we're getting really nitty gritty, but ultimately what we're talking about is the state
yeah,
in which our environment is that we are taking in food, what type of food we're taking in, and then what are we doing with those types of food.
yeah,
I heard a gentleman just recently talk about our body rejuvenates cells regularly.
yeah.
So it's basic knowledge that when we are every day, new cells happen.
Yeah,
If
that's
you're eating,
autophagy. Autophagy for people that don't know. Autophagy.
yes.
Yeah,
So by that process happening and you're eating fast food, you're making fast food cells for your body.
yeah,
Like you just are. Like
yes,
your body makes cells from what you eat and give it nutritionally.
yeah,
My body is made up of different cells because I intake other things.
yeah,
And then when I go and try and use those cells or those things in my body when I exercise, it
yeah.
responds.
Hmm.
My body likes the feeling. I could not imagine doing high activity on fast food now. My body would be like toxic. It would just like,
Right. Yeah,
it wouldn't know what to do with it.
yeah, yeah.
So intake is important, but also what are we intaking?
Yes,
What mindset? I know there's a lot of things like you shouldn't eat after so and so time, and
right.
you should fast for this time, and just tackle initially good foods going into the body,
Yes, absolutely.
colors,
Yeah,
high colorful foods. Let's talk about digestion. If your stomach goes burp burp, you shouldn't eat it. Like
that's good.
it,
Yeah,
it's a simple one. Our stomach is the first one that knocks on it and goes, I like this, or
yeah,
this was horrendous.
yeah.
I have so many people say, I love chips and queso, but every time I eat it,
And they keep eating it.
yes, like
You
yes,
know that you made a lot of good points, but you know what I find interesting is like we don't have an owner's manual like for our bodies, and it's crazy to me that most people don't even know what's going on inside. I mean, we don't get an owner. There's no owner's manual.
yes,
So now again, there's plenty of information, but it's mind blowing to me that people don't really pay attention, and we're all different. Like, so what's going to affect me and you? And well, I get we're all, but that most people won't even take the time to really pay attention to their body and know what's going on internally. Really know what stuff does, how your body even works. Like seriously, I don't think people even really know And we eat because it tastes good, it feels good, and nobody really understands how because you were talking about digestion. I don't think most people even know. They don't even think about it. We were talking about a little bit about the microbiome, and not to get too technical with people, but like people really need to do some research and understand what goes on inside of here. And I just don't think people take the time to do it. Most people don't take the time to do it, which is just it's mind blowing. I'm like, this is the only body you got. This is it. You should know how it works. Take
When
some
me
time
and
out to learn yourself.
Yes, but it started. This is how like close this is for me. Amy, my wife, we're now going on 5 years. So when I met her 5 years ago, she would late 20s. I won't put her age out there. She'll get really mad at me for doing that.
She
So
still looks
5 years
very
ago,
funny.
yes.
She does.
5 years ago, she was in her late 20s. We started talking about what type of food she was eating.
Right.
She didn't know what I was really talking about. And we started getting to a point where I would describe things like when you eat, your stomach shouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
She had gone 25 plus years thinking if I eat, my stomach's just supposed to hurt.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like a food does this.
Yes. Yeah.
And she ate the Taco Bells.
Yeah.
She ate every early 2000s, late 90s food, like and she just thought food caused that.
Yeah.
So then when we got to a point when she didn't have that, you just don't know what you just don't know sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, wait,
yeah,
I can eat food and not have an unenjoyable experience the rest of the evening, or wait, I can still have things I enjoy, but talk about how I do it the least detrimental. Like, yes, we can do this stuff. Yeah. It is not one polar or the opposite.
Right.
I think we kind of put ourselves on, I had another gentleman that I just started working with, and I said, so, what kind of diets have you done? He's like, well, I'm down, I've done boiled chicken and broccoli. And I'm like, that's not where we're going either.
Yes.
So there are so many polars on one end that I think there's somewhere in the middle, depending on your lifestyle, your activity, what you enjoy, your culture, culture foods, like so many of those things are going to change.
Yeah.
But we can do this in a way that our body likes food.
And there's a response that most people have, probably for a lot of people. I mean, if you're in your 30s or 40s, I mean, if you've eaten a certain way for so long, and culturally, certain cultures eat certain things, but listen, when you become an adult, you are in control. So I don't want to hear you've always done it. You can change. It's not easy. It's not easy. And, we mentioned earlier about having a why. It's not easy to do, and it's not like you have to, like I said, I love the way you guys kind of make a small change and then keep that consistent. Because everything comes down to consistency. I mean, you can diet great, and then you get off of it, and then you're right back to what you were doing before. It's like, to me, I want to do something that I can maintain. And it's a lifestyle. It is. I know it's a lifestyle for you guys. It is for me as well. It's a lifestyle for me at this point. It's not a short term thing. It's not a diet. It's not a fad. And there's still things that I can get better with. There's no question. So let me make sure I let people know I am in no way, shape, or form. I don't have it all together. The workout portion of it, I got that together because I'm all about that. But the nutrition, that part of it, and the intake, I got to even get better with that. Yes. So I understand that it's not easy for people to do, but that's why they need you. They need somebody. I mean, seriously, like people, again, like I said earlier, there's no shortage of information.
No.
There's none. Like there's every piece of information you could possibly want. We have at our fingertips right now.
Yes.
I
communicate that when I'm talking about coaching.
Yes.
I tell them up front. Some of my clients will say, so we'll touch base weekly, right? Or bi-weekly. I say, no. You're missing it. You have now hired me to be the person who gets your health under control to where we get to a place that you can do this long term. Yep. Like this is not, I send you an email and you send me progress pics and I go, yay, it worked.
Right. Yeah.
No. Yeah. This is something that I don't have a diet plan for every single person because you've given me your name, your height, your weight, your goals. Like I know nothing about you.
Yep.
So we have to start and we have to say, this is where we're starting. This is where we desire to go.
Yep.
I'm the guy who's going to take care of all of the process in between.
Yeah. That's
because
awesome.
it's crazy.
People need you. I mean, there's a reason why the industry that that you guys have Authentik, and that I believe the way you're going about it is very different than a lot of fitness or training or I just think the way you guys do things is different, and that's why I love to talk to you, because I love your mentality and how you're it's not just about lifting something and just here's a blanket nutrition plan, because everybody's different. Yes. So, but you really also focus on the mental part of that. Like, I love what you guys are doing. I really do, because I have the same belief system. I really do. So let me share this with you, because I want to show people. I want you to kind of talk about this a little bit. So this was competition you did. What was this like? This is just a week ago or 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah. Yes. Just this last weekend. There's 315 right there. We'll go to can you go to the different video here? Yeah. So this is what you would see. This is what you brought up. Yes.
I love this. I want whatever's in that bottle for my next class. I do. I want some of it.
Yes. So I actually ended up going up to 405 that day. I had not really planned on. The gentleman that was actually spotting me there, his name's Carlos Lucio. And me and him have actually partnered. He's in College Station in Bryan, and he owns this facility. And we've really wanted to get to a point where we could give the chance for everyday people to come out. It's not a powerlifting meet. You can go until you fail. And you don't see in the video, but there's about 30 of us just standing there, just cheering you on, watching people succeed. I think is one of the greatest ways that we can really, there you go, give service.
Okay. So I know you didn't know I was going to bring this up, but we're gonna bring this. I got to bring this up. So,
okay.
So mentality wise, well, let me go back over here real quick.
Yes.
So when you're doing these, so did you actually practice? Do you practice your PR, or do you just, when you're in the moment at that time, your adrenaline's pumping obviously a little bit more because you're in a competition. So
yes.
So do you practice that, or what do you do?
During my physique training, I actually do reps with what I'm pushing right there, 315.
Okay.
I don't normally go very heavy. My training is not really focused around low rep, high weight repetition.
Okay.
So I generally know that my strength is going up because the things I can do rep with go up over time. So what I used to be able to do 10 with, I can do 20 with now, and so on and so forth. So I generally know my strength is going up.
Yeah.
But no, we had done a squat and a deadlift one a couple months back, and I had just not done any. That whole post right there is about mindset. But I went in, and he said, "Hey, I want you to do this third lift. Come out and do bench press." And I'm in off season. I feel good. And it was kind of like, hey, let's go for it.
Right.
The next weight, 350, is actually something that I was kind of like, hey, I think this is where I'll kind of settle at. And then, of course, my wife's taking this video, and I get up with 350, and she's like, yep, we're going. We're going. I also had a client there named Jose, and he was lifting that day too, and he PR'd. And so for me, with the Authentik family, it is just bringing each other together and watching each other just succeed. Like, I think as adults, it's something that we miss regularly. Like, go out and push yourself and go succeed, and you can be really awesome and really strong and really amazing, and you are capable of great things, and you can go run a marathon, and you can go do all of those amazing things even as adults. Like, that's what the beauty of this is for us.
And like I said, I know this is just the baseline for you, and it's just transfers into every other area. Now, everybody doesn't need to be a body. This is not even what this is about.
No,
it's just not. If you want to, great. Like, Kenneth can help you with pretty much anything. It doesn't even matter, if it's just mental. You need a coach on the mental health side, which is a big issue, and it's it's kind of interesting because a lot of these sports teams are really, really talking about this right now. Sports leagues, excuse me. So football, it's such a big push. You see it all the time with these commercials, and a lot of these players who we on the outside looking in think they got it great. They're millionaires. They're playing basketball, football. Listen, they're people. We forget. People forget that these guys they're just people.
Yes.
They're just people. They're big people. they're tall. They're incredible athletes, but they're just people.
Yes.
And so this mental health thing is a real deal. It's really important. I know you guys do a lot with the mental health portion when it comes to working with your clients.
Yes. And I equally think if we talk professional athletes, the greats end up showing the difference of if you can focus on your mental health and your mental parts, just being a professional athlete, and then you have greats, there is a variance, a hierarchy of the importance of the mental game. Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Kobe.
Yes.
Yes. Kobe is the ultimate man of being able to control his mind. He knew his goal, he accepted the pathway, and he just told his mind this was going to happen. So when you have greats like that, and then you also have professional athletes that unfortunately none of us know their names of, there is a variance that something separates them. And it's not just genetics. It ends up being something deeper that separates them.
No question about it. No question about it. So, all right. So I'm going to bring this up because I know you didn't know I was going to talk about this, but I have to talk about this. So, you got to explain this.
Yes.
I know what it's about, but you got to explain. You have been awarded, and this, I guess, this came from the police department, right?
Yes.
So I want you to tell people what happened here. Why are you up on this? You're not working. You do not work for the police department.
No, I do not.
They probably would want you to. I'm sure they would love to have you in the park, by the way. But I saw this, and so I want you to tell people what happened here because I think this is a great story.
So the lady to my left here in this picture, it was actually the officer in the situation.
Yeah.
And last August, I was actually doing some construction during the COVID time at a neighborhood over off the loop, and I was in the middle of eating my lunch, just in my car, kind of taking my own time, and I see her pull this. It was a red car, young dude in it. Didn't seem like anything. She had gotten out to try and handle the situation, and the gentleman starts to make the situation worse. Ultimately ended up trying to flee the situation. She went to apprehend him, and it didn't go in her favor initially. And there were me and the two other gentlemen standing there. If I'm being honest, it just kind of happened out of sheer, I didn't think, it just happened. We ran over and helped the situation. Luckily it didn't go. She was safe. She's healthy. She's actually told us she's 14 weeks pregnant. Her and her husband are expecting a child. And so it makes some of these stories and situations just that much sweeter. That, a situation could have gone bad last August, but there are still some really amazing people out there. And I think we all have this in us. And I think if more of this was shown and more of this was highlighted, we can make some really badass changes in this world, if I'm being honest. So
this is so cool. So not to go into, so basically you went and helped her apprehend these guys, or you and I guess these other, essentially you guys kind of went and helped her.
Yeah. So she actually tases the gentleman and nothing happens. It doesn't even affect him. He's on something in some form or fashion. And she goes to handcuff him. And what I end up seeing is he gets face to face with her where he's looking up at her and he just clocks her in the head. And she kind of goes weak. And at that point, you see all of us start to run because we realize this is not going well. And we get there, and it took all of us. The gentleman was definitely he wasn't in a good state. It took all of us to help the situation, and luckily it didn't go bad. We all kind of walked away and able to exchange, good stories in the situation. it was a really cool situation to show up yesterday. I got to meet her husband. One of the actual surreal moments for me was when I saw her that day. I looked down and she had a wedding ring on, and already knowing how I am with my wife, I looked at her and she thanked us. And I said, look, someone expects you to go home tonight. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's really hard for me in the moments with police officers. They're running into the situation that everyone's kind of running away from, and take all of the ugliness out of the situation.
Yes.
There was someone that was waiting for her to come home tonight.
Yeah.
I could not imagine Amy getting the phone call that she doesn't want to get one day, or vice versa. So it took over. Maybe equally the Texas old Southern gentleman in me watching a female get hit was not easy.
Yes, absolutely.
And able, the husband was there and he shook my hand and hugged me. And it was definitely a moment of, like, there was a group of guys who protected my wife and made sure she came home today. There was a full interaction of appreciation and thankfulness, and they were able to tell us they were pregnant. Like, there's celebration in it. It was just a beautiful moment that Amy was there with me taking pictures and videos, so sharing that with her. It was just definitely one of those that in my life I make sure I take like mental pictures of moments in my life.
Yeah.
And standing up there with her was one I took a mental picture of for sure.
So I'm going to that. I had to acknowledge this because this just says a lot about you.
Thank you.
It would have been very easy for you to do nothing.
Yeah.
No one would have said anything. No one would have, for all of you guys. I mean, that says a lot about you. It really does. So I wanted to make sure that I acknowledge you because I saw that post. I'm like, man, how many people would actually put themselves out there to help in a situation? And I'm with you. When I see females getting hit, it bothers me like shit. Another part of me just erupts. It just does. But it would have been very easy for you guys to just do nothing. I mean, you could have. Nobody would have said anything to you. So that just says a lot about you. This is one of the reasons why I love talking to you. And I saw that. I'm like, yeah, that's Kenneth.
I personally, away from business and away, I try and make decisions that, like, I'm going to have to sit with at breakfast tomorrow and swallow.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm going to have to be okay with, I watched something and then I mentally made a decision not to do nothing. And that would have affected me worse than any outcome that could have happened of me jumping in. Yeah. So I knew that I wouldn't, like, maybe, and equally, I didn't make that decision. I think the things that I have made so important in my life and so unconscious for me, they're a part of my virtues. They're a part of my values. They're the things that make me breathe. That another human being needed help. End of story. Stop there. Nothing else needed to be talked about. Another human being needing help. And I had the ability to give the help. And if I didn't, what am I able to stand here as a business owner and say, I want to be authentic, or I want to be this, or I want to be that. And I can't even make decisions like that. I wouldn't be real with, I wouldn't be being authentic if I'm being honest. Yes.
I love this story, dude. I just absolutely love it.
Thank you.
Again, that just says a lot about you, because I think a lot of people would have just ignored it. Maybe they made a phone call. Obviously, she needed help, and for you all of you guys to recognize that and go and actually do something about it, because too many people complain or bitch about stuff and do nothing. They just don't. Yes. There's been so much going on with police, and she obviously needed help. And if you guys didn't do anything, who knows what would have happened, right? Unfortunately, especially, if female, she's by herself. I'm assuming she was by herself.
Yes.
And it's hard. It's hard dealing with somebody in that state of mind, who God knows what state of mind this guy was in, but clearly it was not the right state of mind if it took all of you guys to get this guy, in handcuffs. So I got to acknowledge that, man. That was such a great story. Again, it says a lot about you as a person. I'm not surprised at all. I'm not surprised. And people that know you are probably not surprised either. So this whole Authentik,
Yes.
It fits you perfectly. It really does. You could not have come up with a better name. You really couldn't.
You asked at the beginning of this, what was Authentik about? And I really wanted to hold myself to a standard through my own business to
Yeah.
know if I really want to produce change in this world. I have a few YouTube videos where why did you do Authentik? And I believed I can make an impact in this world. And Authentik is the way that I believe if we can teach more people to just live life, to tackle change, to tackle their fitness, or treat their wives or husbands or partners or kids or your business or your employees, by being able to live the authentic way, we can start making some changes in this world that need to happen. That woman needed help that day.
Absolutely.
She did. And it wasn't anybody else's responsibility but the people who were right there to help her. And I think if we started tackling the things that we watched and went, yo, I'm not okay with this, and did something about it. It's not about ranting. It's not about making your voice change. It's about taking responsibility. And if I want to produce a change in this world, let's go do it.
Be the change.
Yes.
The change that you want to see, be that. Be that
do
first.
It.
It's simple. Not easy. It's simple. But you want change. Don't complain. Don't bitch about stuff. And do nothing about it.
Agreed.
That's Gary Vee always talks. I'm a huge Gary Vee fan, and he's always talking about it's the people that complain. Those are the ones that I'm talking to. If you're good, fine, but don't complain and then do nothing about it.
Yes.
So, I appreciate you so much, man. This was so good. I'm gonna put people obviously have the website for they can get in touch with you. And you should, if you are looking for just an amazing person. He knows what he's doing physically as well, obviously, but it's not just the physical; it's a whole lot that comes along with, with the physical part of the mental, the nutrition, all that stuff. But Kenneth does it very, very differently, and I know a lot of trainers. A lot. I've had a lot of trainers. I'm always been in the health and fitness, so. Over my years of being, hiring trainers and learning and being around trainers, you just do differently. You do things differently. And I love what you are doing and the way you're doing it. So you guys reach out to Kenneth. liveauthentic.com is the website. Go check him out on Instagram. It's a great follow.
Thank you.
It really is. Not just the award that you received from the police department, but you got to watch his training and the videos. It's very good. Oh, and you mentioned YouTube. Okay, so what's the YouTube channel? So we can let people know.
Yeah, so my actual page is Live Authentic. We actually have our own YouTube page on there.
Okay.
I initially put out some basic commercials of just kind of letting everyone know how it is, what it's like, what are we doing. I got asked some questions. It was a really cool interaction. I will be diving in heavily more into our content here as really more or less the end of the year goes into. I really believe that some of the best change we can make right now is through communication. And so I'm using all platforms that I can to get out and just communicate the way that I want to do how we do business and life and fitness. And reaching out with me, I really do a lot more coaching than just fitness. So we talk about daily habits and mindset and goal setting, and really being able to start breaking it down, because my mentor told me yesterday, I spent some time with my mentor, and he said, we all have teachers, we all have mentors, and we ultimately all have people that we aspire to be due to the way that we see their actions going. So those three things right there are, we either want to duplicate something that we watch, or we're getting taught or mentored by something. So we all need it. We all need to be given some type of information on a regular basis, because one of the hardest things I had to swallow is, if I have big goals and dreams, I'm not where I want to be today. And so I've got to do changes, because I'm not where I want to be today. That means every day after this, I have to be able to produce change.
Can't say it any better, man. I
I love it.
appreciate it. Oh my goodness. Look, you got me pumped out right now.
I
Every time I
love it.
talk to you, I get like, let's go, coach.
Yes.
I need to have a conversation with you every morning. But
Yes.
man, I appreciate you. Listen, we're going to continue um, to converse. I will have listen
Please.
as much as I can have you come on and talk about the fitness, the mental health, just so much that we can talk about, and people need to hear it over and over and over and over again. We
Yes.
are so distracted. There's so much going on, and we need to take the time because it's the education part of it, whether it be through YouTube, reading. I know you and I do a lot of this.
Yes.
Audio books. I don't care what it is, and I'm not just talking about for entertainment. I'm talking about to feed your mind because I tell when I teach group fitness, I'm always like, listen, you got to feed your mind too. Like I know you're lifting, you're riding, you got to feed this part too, and that
Yes.
comes from the audiobooks to reading. People don't want to read, get an audiobook. That's why Audible's so popular.
Yes.
People don't want to read. Get in your car, turn on Audible, and just get some food for your mind. It's so important. But reach out to Kenneth, please. Love what you are doing, brother. I appreciate you. We're going to continue. Like I said, I'm going to have you come back on every time we do a community spotlight. At least every 3 or 4, I got to have you come on.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you.
I will
I
continue to
appreciate
support
it.
you guys or whatever you're doing.
Congratulations on what you're doing with Community Spotlight. I think just being able to show highlights here of being able to support you, who is giving other people a platform to communicate what they're doing in this world, is so important. Like we need to be shown what's out there because there are so many options. We don't realize that there is a hierarchy and ingredients of like the service we can receive as consumers, as clients, as interactions in the real estate business and everything in between. Go out there, continue to search for the people. Getting into James and what he does here is just beautiful because he gives a platform to show what other businesses are going on out there. I appreciate what you're doing. So thank you.
So Amy, she just get a pep talk from you every morning. Look, she's a realtor, so she probably your husband. No, I don't know how that goes across.
You'll see this. So you have talked about my last prep I put online quite a bit.
Right.
Amy is now getting ready for a show in August, and I am coach. So we will be showing what that interaction is like of coach and husband. We've already had some really beautiful, successful moments. And we've already had some moments where we go, hey, we got to make adjustments right there. That's got to be an adjustment. So it is.
We need to, you know what we need to do next time we do this, we need Amy on too.
I love that.
We'll have both of you guys on. And we'll when you guys document this journey as she gets prepared for a show. Yeah. By the way, Kenneth's wife is also, she's in the competition and she's extremely fit as well. Let's be very clear. But I want to document everything. And then we got to have both you guys come on because the energy between the two of you guys and just being able to listen to you guys talk, and it'll be very entertaining.
Big kid around her, James. I have to be honest with you. She still gives me butterflies. So like I get real giddy around my wife. It's really weird. But she's an amazing woman. And I just be smiling at her. I'll just be sitting there with her, just smiling.
Well, we may have to have you guys go in a separate room.
Yes.
So nervous. We'll do that. So, all right, Kenneth. Thank you again, guys. Go check Kenneth out. Instagram, great follow, great information. liveauthentic.com. His phone number is down at the bottom of the screen. If you guys have any other questions, you want to get in touch with me, you can shoot me a DM as well. Perfect. And we'll see you guys next week. We'll have another community spotlight coming up soon. And we'll continue to highlight people in the community and give them their flowers now. You deserve flowers. Thank you, Kenneth. Talk to you guys soon.